This is the biggest contract, the contract signing in the history of the MMA, and it was done by one who rejected to renew his contract with the UFC. Now, what do you make of this situation? Does this look like a desperation signing? Because comments that I saw on social media said it was more of a desperation signing for Ngannou. But or do you think it is a message to send to Dana White and the UFC?
Now that we have the details, it seems like he got everything he wanted. And I was never really in any doubt that if anyone was going to sign him so that he could keep fighting in MMA, it would be the PFL. So I don't think it was surprising, and I think it's a great deal for him. So I'm a little bit surprised about some of the criticism, to be honest, because it seems like he waited out for the right deal and he got everything he wanted.
All right. I've also got Favor Itua, my colleague, on standby. I'm sure he has more questions for you.
Yeah. Okay. Hello. I would like to ask, we've seen 9 fighters from the PFL, and they've been revealed to have violated doping rules. We have also seen that they face sanctions. Is there any undertone of propaganda? Because, of course, lots are calling Ngannou out as he becomes the latest member. Does this spell propaganda around Ngannou? I would like to ask.
I don't think so. It's hard to link the two. Of course, that was a tough story for the PFL for that to come out. So we're still kind of finding out more details about that. But Francis, I think it was always on the cards that this was going to happen. Maybe the timing of the two events being so close together makes it easy to tie them together, but I think it was only a matter of time before Francis signed with the PFL. I think a lot of people already knew that it had been done long before it was announced. So, like I said, I think it's just a timing thing rather than anything. So, yeah, I guess a bit of a up and down week for the PFL, but a huge high in signing Francis, of course.
All right. Still to also talk, I would like to also ask Ngannou's potential opponent will automatically pocket $2 million for choosing to fight. Now, basically, these opponents will get paid $2 million to get a knockout by Francis. Is this a downside for opponents over the former UFC champion's career?
I think it's a great thing, honestly. Not only do we know that Francis isn't going to fight in the PFL until next year so that he can try and put together a boxing match later this year, that gives the PFL so much time to assess their options. And with that guaranteed $2 million that his opponent is going to make, I think it's going to attract a lot of people who are in other promotions, who have maybe got a few fights left, who are going to be looking at that saying, I could get paid at least $2 million for one fight. Of course, Francis wanted that because if you signed to fight Francis Ngannou, you should be paid that much money because of how dangerous a fight it is. But I think it's a great thing for the PFL, gives them a lot of options. It's a great thing for Francis that, of course, he wants his opponents to be well paid, but also probably means he's going to get a higher level opponent because they can offer that kind of money to them.
Now, Carl, I'd like to ask before I let you go, a lot of fighters, while Francis was still with the UFC, he said a lot of fighters complained about their wages. Do you think his move to the PFL would prompt most of these younger fighters leave the UFC and join him in the PFL?
I definitely think that there is a potential that will happen. I don't think that it's going to be the same thing that we've just seen with Francis, where, not only is he making a ton of money, but he's got a seat on the fighter advisory board. He's going to be the chairman of PFL Africa. It's not going to be that case for all of them, but we've seen it a few times with fighters going over to the PFL, and we've just had Cedric Doumbé go over to the PFL and say that he's being paid 10 times more than he would have got in the UFC. So I think you are going to see it more and more over the next few years. Maybe not on the scale of a Francis Ngannou. I think that's quite a unique case, but definitely more frequently, yeah.
All right, and in this case, this means it's a win-win for Francis Ngannou and the whole of Africa.
Yeah, I think so. I think he through all of the criticism, he waited out for the right deal, and he got the deal that is right for him.
All right, thank you very much, Carl Dumond, for talking to us, an MMA specialist.